Russell traveled through time and came to the Tang Clan Memories section, where he became an experimental subject. Just as he was in a life and death crisis, he was pulled into a chat group, and the members of the group were all themselves who had traveled to various worlds. After escaping from the laboratory, I happened to encounter the old man who had assassinated Ninja. Joining the Tang clan from this moment and embarking on an extraordinary path of extraordinary cultivation, Russell, the lower string ghost moon of the ghost destruction world, practices Qi and pursues the Wuyan explosive hammer. Mu Ye's Russell's soul pierced through the Orochimaru and led the ninjas to conquer the starry sky, searching for the hometown of Otakuni. Russell of the One Piece world, backed by justice, launched a direct attack on the world's strongest. Russell and Voldemort in the world of Harry Potter confront each other head-on, bravely competing for the second generation of the Dark Lord keywords of the novel. Under one person, join the chat group from Tangmen chapter without a pop-up window. Under one person, join the chat group from Tangmen chapter. Download the complete set of TXT. Under one person, join the chat group from Tangmen chapter to read the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Experimental Body. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. Experimental Body. Russell's eyes were red and his teeth almost pierced through his sleeves. He hid in a haystack, where a brutal massacre was taking place outside. The army uniform is earthy yellow, with a white sun flag on the background. These dressed beasts carry bayonets and ravage the people in the village recklessly. Mom, I'm in so much pain, I'm so cold. Yaya, my Yaya, Mom is here, not afraid, Mom is here. Shouju. Damn it, I'll fight with you guys. Guwa, run quickly. Oh my goodness, I haven't committed any wrongdoing in these 70 years. Why did I treat my Luojia village so badly? The screams and curses gradually faded away, the flames raging, and the black smoke slowly condensed into the faces of the aggressors, emitting a mixture of blood and the smell of burning unknown substances. They pounced with a ferocious expression. You're here, I found you. Russell suddenly woke up, breathing heavily, with a cold sweat streaming down his face. He was surrounded by the smell of formalin. Above, 6 motorcycle headlights were tied together, illuminating the room with a pale hue. Russell lay naked on a single bed, bony and skinny, with snow-white and transparent skin that could clearly see the blue and red blood vessels and dense pinholes. There are 2 beds next to him, and on one in the distance lies a young man named C008. C008 has lost his breath and his gray eyes are wide open. The original name of C008 was unknown to Russell, but the experimenters often talked about him in this way. Russell is not the original Russell either. He was originally a high-achieving student from Blue Star University, majoring in foreign languages and proficient in languages from all over the world. Then, after being stabbed to death by criminals during a heroic act, he came to this world. My predecessor was a fool who only knew how to eat and drink, confused. Then, he was hidden by his own grandfather and caught as an experimental subject. He had long been scared to death. By the way, his current name is A001. He seems to be the longest living one here, and B002, who is still breathing next to him, may become the second one. She has been living for about 15 days. There are only headlights that are always on here, and Russell has never seen the sun rise and moon fall since coming here. He can only calculate the time based on the attendance of the experimenters. He may have lived for almost 2 months, but it feels like 2 years are as long. Russell struggled to tilt his head and said in a hoarse voice, B002, how are you feeling today? B002 was very beautiful when she first arrived, but now she's so skinny that it's almost impossible to tell if she's a man or a woman. She heard Russell's words and slowly outlined a smile at the corner of her mouth. Her breathing became weaker and weaker, and in the end, she completely came to a standstill. She fell asleep, closed her eyes, and fell into a deep sleep forever. Russell's face stiffened, then he smiled and said, "Good dream," before lying down again. "It's good to die," there's no need to suffer. A cold and indifferent force slowly circulated within the body, like mischievous children walking and strutting around. Russell's expression remained unchanged, devoid of sadness or joy, as if the accumulated toxins in his body were exploding. Dreaming has become increasingly frequent lately, and he probably won't be able to hold on for much longer. However, dying here is a relatively easy thing, just like B002. We really can't give us any more time. 731 is just a stroke of luck. Please, Ing Tai. I'm just an escort. For a month. A 001. Regardless of life or death. Someone has arrived. Russell listened to what was being said outside and thanked his previous university major for enabling him to understand Japanese. Perhaps what supports him is not only the instinct to survive, but also a glimmer of hope for the future. After all, we have won the war of resistance. Mr. Kuroda, as an old acquaintance, he has the most needles on Russell. Despite looking old and about to be buried, he is agile and even able to give a Japanese soldier a one-handed over-shoulder throw. He is not as spirited as before, but instead, like a dog, wagging his tail to show kindness to the person named Ing Tai. Russell lowered his gaze and saw the appearance of Ing Tai. He was dressed in a black Japanese collar, with a hat larger than his head and a short stature. He wore a samurai sword pinned around his waist. The brim of his hat covered the upper half of his face, but from his mouth, which had been smirking all along, Russell could confirm that this thing was definitely a pervert. However, this name and appearance are a bit familiar. Ing Tai, the Western Bixemus, has already made a breakthrough in creating mutants, and our empire is also similar. Give me some more time. Tsangtian Jun, please leave some dignity for yourself and don't force me to show the military order above. Ing spoke coldly, exuding an aura that strangers should not enter. Mr. Kuroda sat on the ground with a dejected face, his lips unconsciously opening and closing, unsure of what he was saying. Behemos, stranger. This is under one person. So this one called Ing Tai. Russell stared at the dwarf and finally saw the pair of eager eyes and the entire flattened face. He is the fool who, in the memories of the Rust Iron and Zhengpian Tang clan, relied on the demon sword and leech pill to indiscriminately kill Tang clan righteous men and Yanhua compatriots under one person. Under his excitement, the indifferent aura in his body rapidly expanded and began to move violently as his emotions churned. The originally chaotic rotation of the breath converged at Russell's coccyx as his body straightened, then went straight to the heavenly spirit and fell like a waterfall, hitting the center of his lower abdomen. Ding! Congratulations on using Qi for a whole week and becoming an outsider. You have been invited to join the chat group. Under one person. Russell joins chat group. Group announcement. Daily check.in earns 10 points. You can earn 1 point for every enemy you kill. Group members can trade points with each other, covering personal talents, skills, and even various resources in the world. The transaction price is based on the chat group pricing. The number of transactions for the same physical item cannot exceed 5 times per day, and violators will be disqualified from trading. Group members have one chance to modify their nickname. Group members who die will automatically exit the group. Russell's attention was completely drawn to the chat box in his mind, only to realize that besides him, there were 2 familiar avatars in the chat group. Subconsciously, he clicked on the flashing check.in button on the interface. Under one person. Russell successfully completed today's check.in and earned 10 points. Come and sign in now. Immediately after, the chat box flashed 3 messages. Ghost killing. Tired. Here's another newcomer, Snake Brother. Hokage. Orochimaru. While on mission, do not disturb. Ghost destruction. Tired. Snake Brother, what mission are you carrying out? Ghost killing. Tired. Alright, it's daytime here and it's boring to stay in the cave. Let me introduce you to the chat group function. After instantly changing his nickname, Russell knew that it was not the time to chat, and he had to make a move first. One person. Russell. Wait, big shot, I'll pretend to be dead first. Ghost extermination. Tired. Pretend to be dead, it's very simple. Russell lifted his head and lightly bumped into the bed, leaving him feeling dizzy and his breathing almost disappearing, even his breath dissipating. Ing Tai frowned. He had just felt the energy of the experimental body in front of him, but it quickly disappeared. Is Mr. Kuroda really close to success? Unfortunately, Lord Kurata, the heavenly illumination god, did not favor you. Kurata Jun, don't forget to supplement his nutrition. Don't do experiments secretly. I want him to live until 731. Ing Tai put down a sentence, disregarding the expression on Kuroda's face, and turned around to leave. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. 10 Consecutive Protection, I1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 3. Strange people practice chi starting from extracting chakras. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Strange people practice chi starting from extracting chakras. Chakra is a combination of human and spiritual energy, condensed from the whole body, with only acupoints and meridians, without the concept of dantian. From the 8 gates Duanjia, it can be seen that the major meridians that chakra passes through are probably the Ren and Du meridians in the 8 extraordinary meridians. Russell lay back, his hands gently pressing on his abdomen, and the feeling of breathing just now was still deeply imprinted in his mind. There is no chakra constitution, but all things are chi, so chakrana must also be. Moreover, the name chakra originated from the kingdom of the 3 kingdoms, and there is also the practice of practicing chakras and the unity of Brahma and self in a one-person world, which means dual cultivation of life and soul. In the original work, there was one person in the 24 sections valley who practiced chi to create a calming fire and was able to burn on non-combustible materials. Russell recalled the knowledge passed down from Orochimaru in his mind, with his will filling his body and calling out for the energy within. At first, only a little bit of chi was responding, but soon, as if a spark had started a prairie fire, Russell's whole body burst out with chi. The white cloth covering him was blown up to the ceiling and could not fall. Then seal and guide the flow of chi, like a chakra, sealing 365 acupoints in the body. Russell's fingers flipped, although his body was weak, with the blessing of chi, it was as easy as palms to make fingerprints. As the fingerprints became faster and faster, Russell's surrounding acupoints emitted blue light, and the inflated chi slowly withdrew from his body. The floating white cloth fell on him, and a long-lost sense of satisfaction appeared on his face. He eagerly opened the chat group and shared his joy with the group members. One person. Russell. I have become. Ghost destruction. Tired. Did you extract chakra? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Hokage. Orochimaru. There's nothing impossible, take a look at my screenshot. Zhou Tian Jia In Xing Qi method. It can be used to practice chi for oneself or as a chakra, and is a lower-level cultivation technique. Exchange requires 200 points. Hokage. Orochimaru. What do you say at ghost destruction? Tired ghost extermination. Tired. Woo. One person. Russell. Thank you, snake giant transmission method at Hokage. Orochimaru. Snake giant, would you like to see my cultivation process? Hokage. Orochimaru. This kind of cultivation experience cannot be shared, it needs to be bought at ghost extermination. You have to buy it even if it's tiring, it's useful for you. Ghost extermination. Tired. Alright, 2 adoptive fathers. Dog head. JPG. Hokage. Orochimaru. A child can be taught. One person. Russell. Points credited to account. 400, Russell, with his points, curiously clicked on the redeemable interface of Orochimaru. Good guy, row after row, almost blinding his eyes. 3 body technique, perception technique, sealing technique, illusion technique, 5 elements escaping technique, yin-yang escaping technique, medical ninjutsu, spiritual communication technique, various secret techniques, body transformation, soul research, scientific instrument manufacturing, chakra essence research, various forbidden techniques. Apart from immortal magic, blood inheritance limit, blood inheritance elimination, pupil technique, and seeking Tao Jade, there are only things that Russell could not have imagined, and nothing that is not mentioned above. Snake Giant, have you already dominated the ninja world? How could you be so excellent? Russell widened his eyes. He was envious of every skill, but he only had 400 points. However, why do ghosts have so few skills to eliminate the world? Hokage. Orochimaru. By the way, when you were practicing just now, I heard that you were going to be sent to something called 731. I suggest you find an opportunity to escape, as it is a notorious virus testing site. Russell was taken aback and finally knew where the faint unease in his heart came from. Hokage. Orochimaru. The cultivation method is very good, and I really like it. It is very helpful for the harmony of the body, but your body is too weak now and needs to be replenished. Hokage. Orochimaru. I suggest you first exchange your tired son's evil spirit constitution. If there is a chance, exchange his life drawing skill, which is the most promising. You can choose other life-saving skills yourself. Hokage. Orochimaru. If you have points, I have used chakra to cultivate the blood of evil spirits into something interesting. You can give it a try. Ghost extermination. Tired. I learned it. Snake brother, I want to switch to ninjutsu. I want to breathe fire. Hokage. Orochimaru. Use it sparingly. At one person. Russell estimates there will be a steady stream of good things. Ghost destruction. Tired. Alright. Russell. No problem, I will definitely get what you want. By the way, Snake Giant, can I see your experience? Hokage. Orochimaru. Yes, it has been shared. I went to do the experiment, something happened at me. Tired. I have also gone to practice. In a few days, I will use the fireball technique to hit a ghost. We'll have a live broadcast for you then. One person. Russell. 6. Goodbye. The chat group returned to silence, and Russell did not immediately open the compressed file of Orochimaru's experience. Instead, he scrutinized his own situation. Ingtai, I can't beat him. Not to mention him, even the second in command of Tsungtian is hanging. That old man may also be a skilled practitioner of Qi. Not to mention there are 4 elite Japanese soldiers with guns around the laboratory. Unless an old master from several decades later comes over, even a successful Qi practitioner is likely to be beaten into a sieve. Oh, except for Tangmen who have opened the illusion barrier. Quietly sneak attack, no gunslingers, invisible, 200 points for evil ghost constitution. Normal, with 210 points remaining. 3 body technique, only 100 points are needed. Substitute art can save lives, transformation art can ambush, and clone art can confuse enemies. It seems that there is no twisted ninjutsu like the phantom disability high. How did I become foolish? Isn't there a 2-done ninjutsu? Earth escape. Earth dragon hidden art. The flowing chakra turns the soil into small sand particles, digging underground like a earth dragon, and can perceive the situation on the ground. Redemption requires 100 points. Snake Brother is truly Snake Brother, and can be called an encyclopedia of ninjutsu. However, This evil constitution also has side effects of fear of sunlight and bloodthirsty after use. Never mind, it's important to save your life. You can stay in the soil all day and move around at night. Redeem and use. Russell felt an inexplicable change in his body. Although it had become sturdy, it was unusually restless. Hungry, thirsty Russell didn't expect the demon's constitution to have such a strong stamina. He felt like he wanted to eat himself. Hokage. Orochimaru. By the way, although the side effects of evil spirit constitution are a bit significant, if restrained, it is beneficial for one's spiritual improvement. Hokage. Orochimaru. Come on, don't be outdone by your tired son. Ghost extermination. Tired. One person. Russell. Okay. Is this also in your calculations, Snake Giant? Russell gritted his teeth and suddenly thought of the one who had the ghost exterminated. Everyone is a newly graduated college student. Without the encouragement of Snake Giant, he was able to endure it alone for many years, and he still felt the pressure of being chased. Sure enough, everyone in the group has strength, and it's not just luck that keeps them alive. Russell closed his eyes, and the energy of the Zhou Tian acupoint shimmered in his body. The desires of the evil spirits were like a cold water, thrusting left and right in the cage of the Zhou Tian starry light. Xiandao Guisheng, when you can't bear it the most, it's time for cultivation. Russell saw his own mind in a daze. He sat cross-legged, his hands imprinted, and the energy of the heavens slowly flowed. The water of evil thoughts was divided and drained. Just as Russell and I were forgetting, the door to his laboratory was pushed open, and two white-clad devils walked in. They covered his eyes with white cloth and pulled his bed away. Humph, a good experimental body, I'm not willing to be taken away like this. So what? Even Captain Karada can't do anything about it. Garbage 731 will rely on military power. You can say two less words. Russell opened his eyes, his black ones shining under the white cloth. The beast in my body has awakened. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Snake Brother, why don't you become the protagonist? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Snake Brother, why don't you become the protagonist? Russell was put on an oxygen mask and immersed in a large glass culture dish filled with green nutrient solution. The two white-clad devils in front of the petri dish were holding notebooks and writing and drawing on them. Russell restrained the speed at which his body absorbed nutrients, listening quietly to them chatting about some of their surroundings. After about an hour, two white-clad devils yawned and sat on chairs. Russell still maintained the initial absorption rate, and with the absorption of nutrients and the slow movement of qi, he could feel that his body was becoming stronger and stronger. The five senses became more sensitive, and the amount of qi gradually increased. Originally, he could only perform the two-dun ninja technique once and the three-body technique 3 times. Now it is possible to cast Earth Escape 3 times and three-body technique 10 times. Russell opened a gap in his eyes, and the two of them were not yet asleep, their heads gradually turning. Let's take a look at the experience of the snake giant first, and wait for them to fall asleep before taking action. The time of the second ninja war is blurry, below is the timeline of Orochimaru's fluctuations. In the first year, he crossed over to become Orochimaru and joined a chat group. The fusion of his two souls made his spiritual power incredibly powerful. Knowing everything, he began to practice even harder and sought the technique of the shadow clone from the monkey flying sun slash. Practicing and paying respects to his parents took up a whole year of his time. The second year. Orochimaru has mastered all the available ninjutsu and has set his sights on Tsunade. The more sunny and cheerful Orochimaru made all girls of the same year have no resistance, and Tsunade is no exception. Orochimaru learned the sealing technique from Grandma Tsunade's Whirlpool Mido. In the third and fourth years, the sealing technique was extensive and profound, and Orochimaru barely mastered it. During this period, he understood Tsunade's sincerity and began to accept her. Gangsho happily beat Zilai up and made him cry. In the 5th year, the second-generation Hokage died in battle, and the monkey-flying son beheaded him. Orochimaru strongly supported the teacher and helped him deal with many opponents in secret. He is privately referred to as Huiying's right hand, which makes Huiying's left hand Tuanzhou very jealous. Gungute was deeply saddened by the passing of her second grandfather, and Orochimaru comforted her both physically and mentally, ensuring the safety of the rope tree. Gangsho was completely conquered. Zilai also had a night's drink with Orochimaru one night, and the next day he regained his composure and began to linger in the bathing place. In the 6th year, Orochimaru reached adulthood and held an engagement ceremony with Tsunade. Vortex Mito was very happy and handed over 1/3 of their property to the two. Deshimaru secretly copied a copy of ninjutsu and handed it to Ape Flying Sun / Ape Flying was very happy. Qianshou rope tree has been heavily cleaned up recently, with improved strength and spirit, but it still occasionally behaves recklessly. In the 7th year, Orochimaru was able to split into 3 shadow clones, but his increasingly exhausted spirit and body told him that the body of an ordinary ninja has limits. Especially when pulling on Gangsho at night, he felt the resilience brought by his advanced bloodline. Vortex 9 Shinai transferred to school, and Vortex Mito entrusted Orochimaru to take care of her. 8th year. Orochimaru not only secretly helped the Ape Flying Sun / weaken opponents, but also openly supported him. Ape Flying Sun / was very happy and privately said that Orochimaru would be the teacher of Ape Flying Asma. Orochimaru agreed, and when Tanzo heard about it, he was very jealous. Orochimaru began to establish his own Konoha laboratory. In the 9th year, I joined the chat group as a member of the Ghost Destruction World. Orochimaru obtained the blood of the evil ghost and proved the complementarity between the blood of the evil ghost and the bloodline of the thousand-handed clan through a combination of technology and chakra. He injected ordinary demon blood into the rope tree, and the powerful bloodline of 1,000 hands devoured the demon blood, making the rope tree calm. The constitution of Qianshou rope tree has been enhanced, and there are no side effects of evil ghost constitution, but it has also lost the ability of ghost limb regeneration. Orochimaru is very happy. Gungute was also very happy and slept with Orochimaru that night wearing a splendid kimono. In the same year, while observing in the dark of Orochimaru, Vortex Juxina was rescued by the Pufeng Shui Gate. In the 10th year, Orochimaru infused himself with the blood of the lower cord ghost moon and the cells of Tsunade, and his body was strengthened. He can now split out 10 shadow clones for cultivation, and at night, Gangsho is no longer an opponent. Gungute even asked Orochimaru if he needed to find another wife, but Orochimaru refused. Gungute felt very happy and guilty. Orochimaru then takes in the Feng Shui Gate and the Vortex 9 Shinai as disciples. In the 11th year, Kato Duan died on the battlefield, and Orochimaru took in his close relative Mutsun and obtained his ninjutsu legacy, including but not limited to the art of spiritualization. Orochimaru made a copy and handed it to Ape Flying Sun / Ape Farazan was very happy, and roast that Tuanzang was not sensible and always kept it private. Monkey Flying knew that Orochimaru liked to conduct experiments, so he told him about the Kongen village ruins and allowed him to set up a laboratory outside. 12th year. Orochimaru felt that Tanzo's hand was extended very long, and he even paid attention to the interstitial cells. So he turned his gaze to the Uchiha clan. Under the justice of the Monkey Flying Sun / the Shimaru competed with Mu Shuamao, the flag of Muyi and won. Monkey Flying Sun / was particularly happy and had an argument with Tuanzang when he returned. Chimu Shuamao was dismissed due to mission failure and appointed as a teacher at the ninja school. Orochimaru, Tsunade, also fought the current ninja half-god and half-hidden in Yuin village. After the war, Banzang carried his hands on his back and bestowed upon them the title of Konoha Sannin. After returning home, he raised them for 3 months before reappearing. Ape Flying Sun / couldn't help but be overjoyed and began to familiarize Orochimaru with some village affairs. Tuanzang dropped a lot of things privately. Orochimaru noticed that Chimu Kakashi was a bit sulky, so he introduced him to Jiraiya, and along the way, he gave Yuchibo, Dato, and Noera Linya to Jiraiya. Orochimaru wants to establish her own hospital for Tsunade, and Yukiyoshi Hikari supports it. Tuanzang opposes, but the opposition is invalid. Orochimaru went to find the 3 little ones who founded the Shao organization. I joined the chat group under the world of one person. After Russell finished reading, his mind was buzzing with melon seeds. The cells of the 1,000-handed rope tree. 5,000 points, Gangsho's cells. 50,000 points. I can't afford it, goodbye. Russell curiously opened the avatar of Hokage Orochimaru and found the talent section. Talent: fantastic ideas. You are more likely to follow the same path and explore new paths. Redemption requires 400,000 points. Compared to his talent of 1 million points, Russell felt that he was far behind in achieving such success in the world of Hokage. Setting aside his identity, Russell felt that he was still far behind. Russell felt his heart becoming more calm, his chi becoming more obedient, and the restlessness of his evil spirit constitution almost disappeared. One person. Russell initiates video live streaming. Hokage Orochimaru, Ghost Annihilation. Join the live broadcast room. Ghost Destruction. Tired. Snake Brother, why are you so fast? Why did I refuse to invite you to join no matter how much I invited you back then, Hokage? Orochimaru. Be sure to come and support your live broadcast next time. Ghost Destruction. Tired. Russell. Brothers, I have replenished my energy now and am ready to take action. Ghost Extermination. Tired. Hurry up, I want to see blood flow into a river. Hokage. Orochimaru. Steady, don't wave. One person. Russell. Understood. Russell opened his eyes, took a deep breath, and then gently removed the oxygen mask. He reached out and pressed his hand against the glass, a ball of energy slowly flowing out. Immediately after, he used his hands and feet together, quietly crawling out like a gecko, while the liquid on his body was slowly flowing down the glass with flowing chi. Ghost Killing. Tired. When did he learn to climb trees with chakra? Are you secretly practicing behind our backs? Is it too curly? Hokage. Orochimaru. Yes, yes. The ghost destroyed the world, with a tired expression of doubt about life. He tried to climb the cave wall, but after climbing less than 1 meter high, he was already unable to resist gravity. Like a fat cat, it slid down the uneven cave wall in a wavy shape. This is not scientific. Do I even need to exchange this chakra technique? Woo. The signing site is short, everyone can rest assured to invest. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Guess Who I Am. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Guess Who I Am. Russell, like a civet cat, came behind a white-clothed devil with a body size similar to his, without making any sound. He expressionlessly hugged the enemy's neck with both hands, and with a little force, twisted the fragile neck bone. Integral +1. Russell did not feel any discomfort at all, and it was unclear whether it was innate or the influence of a devilish constitution. Tired and Orochimaru didn't think anything of it. They had seen more deaths, let alone killing a beast. Russell began to take off his clothes. Watching the live broadcast, Orochimaru raised his eyebrows and a slight smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Shao Nan, who was baking next to him, saw it and his eyes widened. Teacher, what's wrong with you? Tangmen, who was eating, asked in a loud voice. Mihiko looked up suddenly and almost choked to death from the chicken leg in his mouth. It's nothing, I remembered something happy. Russell put his clothes aside and then dragged the dead body, gently placing it in the culture dish he had stayed in and putting on an oxygen mask. Transformation technique. Russell put on his clothes and walked over to his colleague, shaking vigorously. Summer Village, wake up, wake up. Ah. Xia Cun opened his sleepy eyes and looked at Russell. Akai, what's wrong? It's really time for the shift change soon. I don't know, I want to go to the restroom now. Can you accompany me? Huh, you guy. Xia Cun glanced at the culture dish, and the experimental body looked unchanged, as if it was still asleep. I can accompany you, but the treasure in your pocket, I'll score points. Russell took out half a box of paper cigarettes, which were printed with white cherry blossoms and inscribed with the words, The Rising Army. Here you go. Russell smiled generously, I plan to quit smoking from today on. Okay. Let's go quickly, go back quickly. The team leader probably doesn't know. Xia Cun snatched the paper cigarette and said urgently. Russell followed behind Xia Village, showing a strange smile. Although the transformation technique may be detected by experts, it is really useful for ordinary people. As for dealing with high-level experts, yen shu shu. Copying near the person involved, whether in appearance or breath, is consistent with the original body. Redemption requires 100 points fire shadow world domain poison, you deserve it. Ghost extermination tired. What situation, I'll cut it out a bit, at one person. Russell, where are you? One person. Russell. I followed behind the smoker, observing the environment. Ghost extermination. Tired. Russell secretly jotted down the door number on his way, but unfortunately he didn't run into the arsenal, otherwise he could just give them a big one. Just as I entered the restroom, I saw two Japanese soldiers puffing up smoke inside. Matsumoto Jun, Natsumoto Jun, what a coincidence. Natsumura greeted and took out his cigarette box before starting to distribute cigarettes. Xia Cun Jun, you're very generous today, the two Japanese soldiers joked. Where, it's Akai Jun who's preparing to quit smoking, and in the end, it's all cheaper for me, That's right, you're all my witnesses. Starting today, I'm going to quit smoking. Russell patted his chest, shaking up in a voice. Ha ha ha, you can do it, Akai. I'll go get one first. Xia Cun smiled and went in. Soon, smoke came out. As for Akai wanting to use the restroom, where is smoking important? Matsumoto, I need another one. Once I finish, I'll go on patrol. Then hurry up, Matsumoto carefully stuffed the new cigarette into his pocket. I'll smoke again tomorrow. Russell squinted his eyes and slowly approached Matsumoto, whispering. Matsumoto Jun, I have a very private matter to ask you, which is when I feel lonely and unbearable at night. Oh. Hee 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 hee. Matsumoto leaned over with a lewd expression, I'll tell you, Integral +1. Russell expressionlessly lifted Matsumoto, whose neck had been twisted, and opened a toilet door to lean against the wall, then carried his .38 rifle and ammunition pack on his body. Stepping out, Russell transformed into Matsumoto's appearance again. He arrived at the pit in Xia Village, pushed open the door, and before he could react, his neck was already crooked. Integral +1 Russell quickly caught his cigarette and helped him stuff it back into his mouth. Xia Cun's eyes widened, and the red dots on his cigarette but flickered with green smoke. Russell slowly closed the door and returned to Matsumoto's original position to stand. After 5 or 6 breaths, Xia Mu came out, full of energy, and said, Huh. Where are Xia Cun Jun and Akai Jun? Shoo. Russell half clenched his fist, gesturing and gesturing, with a lewd smile on his face. Do this. Hee 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 hee, hurry up, hurry up. Walk, Walk, you're ahead, I'll follow you. Summer Village and Matsumoto leaned against the wall, one neck rushing to the left and the other neck turning to the right. The flying flies pounced on their eyeballs, excitedly spinning in circles. Ghost destruction. Tired. Sleeping trough. You old six. Tired and looking scalp tingling, can Nima still play like this? If it were him, he would rely on his evil spirit constitution to charge forward and forth. Well, probably, maybe I won't be killed by the second-rank Tang Yingtai, right? Ghost extermination. Tired. Why don't you stab them to death? To deal with these animals, there is no need to talk about humanitarianism, we have to let them bleed. Hokage. Orochimaru. I should be afraid of the bloody smell attracting enemies, after all, there is that pervert in Yingtai. One person. Russell. Yes, the snake is huge. Hokage. Orochimaru. Take a good look, learn well at ghost slaying. Tired. Ghost extermination. Tired. I'm learning now, I'm learning now. The exhaustion of killing ghosts in the world collapses, and there are so many details about killing ghosts. Learn, how can I learn? This question is too difficult, I can't do it. Russell finally saw the arsenal he had been longing for. There were 2 guards outside the iron gate, wearing helmets and carrying rifles, making them look like strangers should not approach. Their bodies were noticeably larger than Xiaomu, who was leading the way, with no emotion in their eyes. Looking at Russell and his companions was like looking at a fly. Russell furrowed his brows in secret. The experimental base was complex and disoriented, and it was easy to feel dizzy and disoriented when using the term Earth escape. As they walked, Mr. Kurata and his 2 companions hurriedly walked over. Russell's expression remained unchanged, following behind Xiaomu with an unusual standard of marching and walking. Mr. Kurota just passed by Russell's side and stopped in an instant. He turned around and frowned as he looked at Russell's back. The ghost destroyed the world, and the tiredness of watching the live broadcast almost reached my throat. I dare not post a single word in the group, afraid of exposing Russell's flaws. Hokage. Orochimaru. That Mr. Kurota may have doubts about you. One person. Russell. It seems that there are still loopholes in the transformation technique. Although the traces of chi are not obvious, in the eyes of experts, it is indeed a loophole. Why are you so fucking calm? The tired heart of the ghost-destroying world roared fiercely. Mr. Kurata patted his head and sneered, really, have you been under too much pressure lately? It feels like I've never seen this person before. I have grown old, and the news brought by Yingtai has had a huge impact on me. It was only then that I remembered that it was Matsumoto who often smoked with Xia Cun and Akai. Mr. Kurota turned around and continued walking towards the laboratory. I need to take a look at A001 again and also see if those 2 kids are slacking off. The exhaustion of the ghost-destroying world covered his heart, panting heavily. He was almost scared to death just now. These 2 guys are still chatting in the group, it's really heartwarming. Ghost extermination. Tired. By the way, that old man was going to the laboratory just now. At one person. Russell, you're going to expose it. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. I declare in advance that I am not Lao Liu. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. I declare in advance that I am not Lao Liu. Russell has followed Xiaomu around and finished reading everything he can. At a corner, he silently followed his guide and then escorted him away with both hands. He now has 238 rifles, 10 magazines, and 40 bullets. Now the problem arises, one person. Russell. Cute brother, how can you shoot? Ghost extermination. Tired. Woo. Hokage. Orochimaru recommends techniques for using individual firearms, which require 10 points to redeem. One person. Russell. Snake Giant 666 Ghost Extermination. Tired. I have a question, where do firearms come from in the world of Hokage? Hokage. Orochimaru recommends the Chakra sniper gun. Made in the air, with a range of 1,000 meters. It can ignore wind direction and automatically convert into wind attribute chakra bullets. Redemption requires 200 points. Ghost Destruction. Tired. 6 1 person. Russell. 6 I have all the chakra snipers, not to mention traditional firearms, they are probably old antiques. Russell. Thank you, Snake Giant. Let me save some points. It's not easy to earn points. Hokage. Orochimaru. It's okay, I still have a lot of good things here. 1 person. Russell. Gently kneel down for the big shot. JPG. Russell instantly transformed into the appearance of General Kuroda. He wouldn't underestimate the enemy's intelligence and mobility, so he used Kuroda's maximum speed to head straight to the arsenal. Ghost Extermination. Tired. I really convinced you, this old 6. Do I even suspect that we were really the same person in our previous life? The arsenal guards are not surprised by the behavior of General Kuroda, especially recently, this old man has always been a bit crazy. At the moment when Russell's body was parallel to a guard, his left hand pointed together like a knife, and the blood of evil spirits filled his palm. The entire palm muscles were tense, and the whole body was blue. The nails suddenly stretched out, and at the same time, the blue energy flowed through the fingertips, like serrations. 2 guards noticed something unusual at the same time, but it was already too late. Russell thrust his left arm fiercely into the heart of the nearby guard, like a knife poking tofu, without any obstruction. The other guard let out a strange cry, took out a dagger from the side of his leg with his right hand, and stabbed it directly at Russell's shoulder and neck. Little devil, you are so quick to react. Russell didn't dodge either, holding a dagger and stabbing his right hand in front of his fingers, as fast as lightning. The guard holding the dagger grinned grimly, his face full of madness, and he didn't retreat, wanting to die with Russell. Pushi. The dagger and palm were stabbed into the opponent's body, and the guard showed a happy smile, but soon his eyes widened in fear. Russell gritted his teeth and pulled out the dagger, his neck even bleeding. What level of physique do you dare to exchange with me? Ah! The guard suddenly spewed out a mouthful of purple blood, and blood vessels sprouted from under his face, like climbing vines, instantly spreading throughout his body. Ho 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 ho. The guard's eyes were bulging and he knelt down, with an expression of immense pain remaining on his face. Russell turned around and saw that the guard who had died in an instant earlier had purple blood oozing from the corner of his mouth. Ghost Extermination Fatigue. What situation? How do you feel like you've been poisoned by my spider venom? He didn't even learn the blood ghost technique. Huaying. De Shiwan. It should be a trait derived from Qi, and perhaps your blood is quite special at 1 person. Russell, do you sell blood? I collect a large amount. Russell's eyes lit up, and he could now bully ordinary people. If he encountered a master, he would probably shatter with just a touch. Zhengqiu points have nowhere to obtain, Snake Giant is here to send warmth. 1 person Russell. Sell. If the blood doesn't dry, keep selling. Ghost killing. Tired. Sure, let's exchange some blood selling experiences together at Russell, 1 person, 1 person. Russell. Ajpk. In just a few words, the blood hole on Russell's neck had visibly healed. Russell touched his intact neck, exclaimed in amazement, and then turned his gaze to the unguarded arsenal. Russell used his gun stock to break open the door lock and found that the maximum inventory of weapons was only 1 platoon. Even if all the ammunition was blown up, it could not lift the base up. 1 person. Russell. At Hokage. Orochimaru, can you buy weapons from me? I will buy it back later. Hokage. Orochimaru. If you lack points, I can help you brush points, but if you want to use weapons, there is no need. Why don't I ask Kannin to help you make it and you can exchange it? One person. Russell. Forget about brushing points, keep it for me to exchange useful weapons. I'll take the weapons from the devils myself. After all, there are still 6 immortals in your area, so be prepared. Hokage. Orochimaru. Okay. Russell collected some ammunition and was ready to explode. Just as he was about to take action, Russell suddenly stopped, dragged the body onto the oil bucket, and then walked back to the door, digging out 2 or 3 clumps of bloody dirt and stuffing them into his pocket. Ghost extermination. Tired. Hokage. Orochimaru. Enemies now know that they can disguise themselves as others, but they don't know if they can release poison. One person. Russell. Jia, I want to surprise these little days in the future. The exhaustion of the ghost-destroying world completely fell silent. Looking back on all these years, I haven't died yet. It's really lucky. At this moment, Russell escaped from the laboratory. Mr. Kuroda looked at the body in front of him with a gloomy expression, and Colonel Shimada, who was responsible for the security of the experimental base, also had a pale face. Xia Village, Qijing, and Matsumoto. Suddenly, a flash of lightning flashed through Mr. Kuroda's mind, and Matsumoto was dead. Who did he encounter in the hallway before? Where's Ingtai? Has Ingtai come yet? Tsungtian Jun, does your voice sound very anxious? Jia Tang Ingtai walked over with a smile on her face, her right hand constantly caressing the handle of the knife. Do you want me to help you chop people off? He had a red light in his eyes, and a chilling evil energy rose from him. Whether facing countless corpses, General Kuroda, or experiencing a barrage of gunfire, Colonel Shimada involuntarily retreated, sweating profusely. At that moment it was as if a demon was licking their necks with its fangs. It's too scary. Is this the first swordsman in the army? Don't worry, I won't swing a knife at you, after all, I'm a companion. Ingtai lifted the brim of her hat and licked her crimson tongue on her teeth. However, if you stop me from chopping people, it's not certain. Colonel Shimada swallowed his saliva and turned his head to look at General Kuroda. Mr. Kuroda gritted his teeth, took 2 steps forward under pressure, and bowed, Please, Ingtai. Please restrain yourself and save that person's life. Mr. Kuroda felt a chill in his neck, and a snowy blade was pressing against his Adam's apple. He felt that if he made any movement, he would be out of place. Mr. Kuroda closed his eyes and shouted loudly, that person may be A001, suspected of possessing the ability to transform others. Ingtai, this is an important experimental material over there. Please, save his life. After 3 breaths, Ingtai withdrew her blade and coldly said, You need to compensate me with 10 living people, understand? Understood. Understood. Mr. Kuroda was overjoyed. There were only 10 living people, and there was plenty of land in this area. Well, Ingtai, that suspicious person. Don't cut his arms and legs too badly. Mr. Kuroda quickly added as Ingtai's face began to deteriorate. 20 people on one arm and 30 on one leg. Ingtai's face darkened slightly as she turned and walked towards the door. Don't forget what you said, she said. Mr. Kuroda's face lit up with joy and he quickly called everyone to follow. If the experiment is successful, he can have a larger laboratory, perhaps making the empire the world's #1. He, how can we calculate? This deal has been profitable. Ingtai also licked his lips, his leech balls were already starving and thirsty. Sign a contract, start a new round of street fighting journey, start writing a street fighting diary with recommendations. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Reporting to Tangmen, a corresponding professional. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Applying for Corresponding Majors. Tangmen. When Ing Tai and the others started moving, Russell was already on a dirt slope 5 miles away. His face has returned to its original state, with only one head exposed and his body completely buried in the soil. After using the Earth Dragon hidden technique twice in a row, his energy was about to bottom out and he had to come out to breathe fresh air. Of course, also appreciate the flames blooming in the distant experimental base. Ghost extermination. Tired. I thought you would continue to deal with them inside. One person. Russell. There's nothing I can do. Ing Tai is such a tough guy who can't beat vegetables. He has a high attack and high sensitivity. I can't beat him with my small arms and legs. Ghost extermination. Tired. You can really hold back, I feel like we used to be alone. Hokage. Orochimaru. Although we were all the same person before, it is normal for certain amplified elements in our personalities to be different after crossing time. Ghost extermination fatigue. Is that right? Snake Giant, can you help me analyze? What is my amplified personality? Hokage. Orochimaru. A optimist who takes action step by step with the body and mind. The ghost extinguished the world with a tired smile. To be honest, he rarely experiences feelings of depression. So I'm an optimist, that's great. However, what does it mean to start with the body and the mind? Russell twitched the corners of his mouth slightly, automatically blocking messages of madness in the chat group. Snake Giant's brainless explanation was truly fresh and refined. But it is very accurate. Russell smiled, took a deep breath, then glanced at the gradually disappearing flames, buried his head back in the soil, and ran towards the distance. Mr. Kuroda, second rank Hall Ing Tai, we're not done with this yet. Experimental base, arsenal. Mr. Kuroda's face turned pale as he stared blankly at the burnt-down arsenal, muttering, impossible, impossible. However, the second-tier hall, Ing Tai, was unusually quiet. He stared fixedly at the scorched land in front of him, and after a while, he couldn't help but tremble all over. Zamaru, you also feel that this is a tough opponent. Although his strength is not very good, he will eventually be qualified to become a trial target. Great, Hiramaru, great. Since the war with the Ishikawa family, the people of this continent have always brought us surprises. After the famous Liu family, there is still this fruit that needs to be ripened. Everyone else is too far away from Ing, afraid of being chopped to death by this pervert. Ing Tai, Ing Tai. Mr. Kuroda walked up to Ing Tai with a pleading expression on his face. Can you help me again, help me find him, find A001. Ing Tai slightly restrained her expression, lowered her head, and showed a chilling smile at Kuroda. Help you, of course, I'm also very interested in this A001, she said. Mr. Kuroda smiled happily, but then froze on his face. However, you should figure out how to face the punishment from your superiors, Mr. Kuroda. If you can survive. No, please help me plead with the higher-ups. Mr. Kuroda seemed to think of something extremely terrifying, his eyes filled with fear. Ing Tai sneered and mercilessly flashed away. He's not a nanny. With this time, it's better to cut off a few people. Colonel Shimada and the people around him looked at each other, for a major dereliction of duty like theirs would definitely require a deep apology. However, it is impossible to undergo an abdominal incision. Isn't there a pot left here? They silently watched as Akira Kuroda, whose face was covered in deathly gray. Some people have even left and started truthfully reporting. On a full moon night half a month later. Russell sat on a stone in the forest, quietly practicing. When practicing chi at night, there is an inexplicable feeling of fullness, which is even happier than the feeling of drinking human blood in the bloodline of evil spirits. During this period, Russell also knew his location and specific time. In 1938, SHX province. War is raging here, and the order is chaotic. For the first time, Luo Su realized the insignificance of personal strength, mainly because the Japanese army here was too outrageous, with operations at or above the regimental level, and each unit had at least one extraordinary expert. He could only shoot black guns from a distance, and even so, he was chased by an invisible ninja for nearly 30 miles the day before yesterday. Otherwise, he might have been left there if he were to exchange military rations and pills in a timely manner. From that moment on, Russell deeply understood his weakness. What's the use of holding even the most advanced firearms? Not to mention Urji Tang Ying Tai, he is the invisible ninja who can be killed with just one blow. If you have the strength between 1,000-handed pillars, what kind of team, what kind of teacher, a tree realm will come and solve it. Unfortunately, activated cells between the pillars. 100,000 points. Note. There is a risk of fusion. Remaining points. 260, with so many points, none of the 3 people in the group add up. Russell was very helpless, giving him too little development time. A ninjutsu above level C requires 500 points, and the health inheritance limit starts with 10,000 points. His current strength, not to mention changing the world, doesn't even qualify him to change local battlefields. Russell couldn't help but look south, where there was the Heavenly Master's mansion and more opportunities for growth. Little brother, do you know about the Gun King? Russell tightened all over and was about to use a stunt when someone grabbed his wrist. A smiling and amiable sturdy old man gradually emerged from the void. Tang Clan laughs at the King of Hell. Tang Jiren. Russell's pupils contracted and immediately aligned with the characters in the original manga. His enhanced 5 senses were in vain in front of Tang Jiren, even the invisible ninja had a faint human touch. And Tang Jiren, with his magical disability, was like colorless and tasteless air. Russell, the younger generation, is truly unworthy of the title of Gun King. Russell saluted respectfully, his admiration in his eyes not concealed. In the original Tang sect chapter, he assassinated one of the 10 Tang sect warriors named Ren Tu on the Baigo mountain. In the end, he was replaced with 5 and killed Ren Tu, Lady Jing, and the translation officer, as well as 2 fierce warriors from both sides. It's just that the Lian of Ren Tu is so outrageous, it's like a humanoid ultrasonic radar. Otherwise, with the illusory physical disability of the Tang Clan Master, killing Ren Tu would definitely be enough to make a full retreat. Russell always felt that the death of the Tang sect master was both heroic and regrettable. Little brother, do you know me? Tang Jiren squinted his eyes, and no one except his classmates knew his true face. The Tang clan laughed at the title of King of Hell. It was not just talk, it was a tangible achievement. There is nothing he cannot complete that he has received. After receiving the task, Tang Jiren only needs to show a smile to prove that the person is dead and there are no accidents. This is also the origin of the title of the King of Hell with a smile. Life and death are unpredictable. So, the employer couldn't see him, except for his classmates who had seen him, they all died. How did this kid know about me? Tang Jiren is a bit puzzled. One person. Russell opens the video live broadcast and clicks to enter. Ghost destruction. Tired. Bubble. Lying trough. Tang Jiren. This master is here. Is the Tang sect chapter about to begin and we need to assassinate Ren Tu at one person? Russell one person. Russell. I was originally planning to go south to the Heavenly Master's mansion, but I didn't expect to meet the Tang sect master here. One person. Russell. There's no need to go so far now. I can also join Tangmen. I feel that ninja skills are quite suitable for practicing in Tangmen. One person. Russell. Are you going to assassinate ninja? I don't know. Maybe they are preparing. If my strength improves quickly, I will also go and help. Seeing that Tang Jiren was silent, Luo Su quickly spoke up and said, I was lucky enough to hear my elders laugh at the reputation of the King of Yen. Senior, if you need me anywhere, I will definitely not refuse. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. The Grand Master Takes Me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. The Grand Master Takes Me. Are you not afraid that I want you to do something that will take your life? Tang Jiren quickly compared Russell and the appearance of acquaintances in his mind, but there was no match. Of course not, I haven't offended anyone else in my life except for the little devils. You can't carry out tasks for them, can you? Russell chuckled softly, and he still had this confidence. Since traveling to the world under one person, he has not only acted alone, but also caught and fought against Japanese and traitors. It is impossible to offend someone. Tang Jiren's smile slightly restrained. Since Russell recognized him, he would definitely seal his mouth. Otherwise, if the assassination of the Tang clan is not covert, the probability of failure will definitely be over 50%. If it were in the past, they might hibernate for a period of time before carrying out tasks. But not this time. The support provided by Baigua Shanren to the front battlefield was too great. They spied on intelligence, assassinated important personnel, and acted recklessly. With the cooperation of the military, Yanhua's aliens were almost severely injured. This move not only requires immediate execution, but also successful execution. Otherwise, I don't know how many more people will die in vain. Little brother, I just wanted to ask you something. If you help me, Tangmen will give you a generous reward. Tang Jiren pondered for a while and slowly spoke up. If he hadn't seen Russell kill enemies before, he would definitely not have been so good-mannered. Although I didn't remember who Russell's elder was, being rough with him was definitely not good. If it were someone he had never met before but had an impact on the mission, he would have knocked them unconscious and taken them away. Can I join Tangmen? Tang Jiren was taken aback and carefully looked at Russell. He didn't expect him to say that. Sure, but joining the Tang clan requires following the rules of the Tang clan. Can you abide by them? Tang Jiren thought for a moment, but ultimately agreed. There's no way, because of Russell's actions, even the Beagle Mountain Ninja was scattered and had no fixed residence. The intelligence obtained the day before was useless the next day. To put it bluntly, Russell didn't even realize that he was stirring up his own feces too badly, which led to the summoning of the Tangmen master. Do we have many rules in Tangmen? Russell only knew about the people of Tangmen, who prioritize tasks and take pride in completing them, and had little human influence towards the outside world. In ancient times, being a killer was okay, but in modern society in the future, what is the future of being a killer? The martial arts world is not only about fighting and killing, but also about human relationships and worldly wisdom. Is Nathan Island strong or not? It's full of aliens. Over 1,000 years ago, it was a tough empire, and then what? Slaughtered clean by modern militarized equipment. Even the extraordinary old Celestial Master needs to honestly cooperate with the leaders of the Tourism Bureau. What about Tangmen? Transforming into a martial arts school, all the defense facilities at home have been dismantled, and even assassins cannot be considered. If the rule is to always be a killer, then he must change it. Tang Jiren suddenly laughed and said, many. After you return to the mountain gate, I will explain it in detail to you. No problem. What should I call you now? You can call me Grandpa. Tang Jiren's eyebrows relaxed, and Russell was already taken care of. I don't know if Baigu Shanren and his companions will reunite. If they can't reunite again, it will be troublesome. Grandpa, what do you want me to do? Russell picked up his gun, jumped off the stone, and looked up at Tang Jiren. Oh, right. Look at me, I'm getting older and my memory isn't as good as before. Tang Jiren touched the back of his head and smiled. I want you to stop your current actions and come to our camp for repairs. Once we finish the task, we will take you back to Tangmen. No problem, Grandpa, I'll listen to you. By the way, Grandpa, do you have any tasks here? Master, do you think it's appropriate for me to learn something first when I join the Tang sect? Grandpa, could you please tell me some key points about the rules of Tangmen first? Russell smiled and followed the old man, feeling extremely secure. He hasn't been so relaxed for a long time, and now he really wants to talk. Tang Jiren felt a headache in his head. He had been with his family for a long time and was really not used to Russell talking so much. It's like having a Buddha reciting scriptures in his ear. Watching the live broadcast, I was so tired that I was overjoyed. Unexpectedly, the Tang Clan master was almost defeated by a young man. Stop and stop, I want to teach you something. Tang Jiren jumped off the stone and felt that we couldn't continue talking. He still had to go back to the team to make a plan. There are too many rules in Tangmen that cannot be explained for a while. Russell is not qualified to participate in the task being executed, and he cannot speak. We can only teach him something first and block Russell's mouth. You can teach me anything, Russell blinked, filled with anticipation. Tang Jiren is overjoyed. Things from the Tang clan are not easy to learn. However, it can actually make Russell disappear. I'll teach you Subu first. If you can catch up with me with Subu, I'll teach you something else. He stepped forward with his right foot, and the small grass under his feet could only bend and bend. Tang Jiren felt like stepping on a spring and flew out a meter away in one fell swoop. Russell's eyes lit up, and he had figured out the instant body technique himself, only gathering his energy under his feet and then exploding. But it's not as good as Tang Jiren's ability to teleport far without harming any plants or trees. Subu, external form, internal energy. Tang Jiren's voice came from the front, as if he was floating in the wind with Subu. His movements were unpredictable, and his speed was even faster. Shaped like floating catkins, stepping on the weak wind with feet. Qi flows out of the body, transforming the wind and walking. Russell's eyes lit up, and his energy flowed around his body. He opened his arms and felt the flow of the wind. Taking a step forward, although the grassland has been pitted, it is not as dusty as before. Russell smiled slightly, carrying his rifle behind him, swinging his arms and alternating his left and right feet, like a beginner on roller skates. After reciting the mnemonic, Tang Jiren realized that his heart had calmed down. He has been under a lot of pressure lately because every day he delays, countless soldiers will sacrifice themselves. But now that a new Tang sect disciple has been accepted, it can be considered a reflection of one's original intention. People in the Tang clan should maintain a purity. Accepting tasks, completing tasks, and not overthinking anything else. Recently, Tang Jiren has indeed been overwhelmed by the pressure of tasks. After all, the current national feud is vastly different from the previous tasks. Tang Jiren sighed in his heart and said, I haven't reached home yet for the cultivation of Guan Zixin's mind technique. Anyway, just teach him well. Actually, Subu is quite difficult. Before the Tang family could finish sighing with kindness, they suddenly felt a gust of wind blowing past them, causing waves to rise again on their originally calm face. Woo! Russell felt like a pulley was growing under his feet, sliding on the ground, trees, and any place he could step on. The energy flowing on the body constantly adapts to the wind direction, and the resistance to moving forward almost disappears. He felt like the wind. Passing through a myriad of flowers, leaves never touching him. Tang Jiren's eyelids lightly twitched, and his calm expression, which had only been maintained, suddenly showed an unstoppable trend. Has this been practiced? Subu. My skills are really impressive. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. 5 Treasures for Protection, You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 5 Treasures for Protection. Now it seems that Subu is not that difficult. Damn it, this kid is really a genius. Tang Jiren suddenly smiled, his smile coming from the bottom of his heart. He was really happy. Sect leader, I didn't expect to skip the main task and discover a good seedling first. Now, even if I can't go back, I can still die without regrets. Ghost extermination. Tired. Worry. Brother, why are you so fierce? You've learned another skill now. 200 points is a bit too much. Hokage. Orochimaru. It has been replaced, which is indeed good. It can enhance the instant body technique and greatly assist the body technique. You received points plus 200 Russell. I won't turn off the live broadcast. Now hold on to your thighs and learn your skills first. Russell slid up to Tang Jiren with a hot breath on his head and said, Master, take a look. Do you need to teach me the next skill? That's right, if I promise you, I won't break my promise. Tang Jiren lightly patted Russell's shoulder. We'll talk as we walk. Russell was stunned for a moment. Just now, he felt that Tang Jiren had become much closer to him, as if facing an elder who had been with him for many years. Next, I will teach you the 5 treasures body protection technique. This is the foundation of our Tang sect's establishment. I see that you have other skills in your body, but you only practice meat, not muscles, bones, and internal organs. Tang Jiren said earnestly, although our Tangmen do not place as much emphasis on health preservation as Taoism, the principle of dual cultivation of life and soul still holds true. So, is Tangmen only taking on tasks to make a living? Russell suddenly asked. Not entirely, the inheritance and cultivation of the Tang sect also require entering the world. Taking on the task is to enter the world and cultivate the most suitable Tang sect martial arts. I see. No wonder the Tang clan continued to engage in the killing profession after the Jiashan rebellion. In their view, this is a tradition, a practice, and an eternal truth. Russell sighed in his heart, thinking that since he planned to join the Tang clan, he would definitely not become a 2nd or 5th child. Moreover, Tang Jiren has already taught him the real thing. He can't do things like holding a bowl to eat and putting it down to scold his mother. Fortunately, there is a saying. When you can't adapt to the environment, go and change it. If you don't want to be a killer, you can only set a small goal first. To become the doorstep leader. After all, fighting and killing will eventually be abandoned by peaceful times. Master, continue to talk about the 5 treasures of body protection technique. Russell pressed his mind and focused on his cultivation first. Tang Jiren blinked his eyes and chuckled inwardly. This kid may not be interested in being a killer. However, he was quite satisfied with Russell's repeated use of the term, Tangmen. A disciple of the Tang family, who values both cultivation and character, is not foolish either. Once Russell's talent was determined, observation and cultivation of his character were put on the agenda. Although the 5 treasures body protection technique of the Tang clan is heavy in killing and attacking, it is not without the principle of cultivating one's character. The 5 treasures body protection technique refers to the heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys, which correspond to the 5 elements of fire, wood, earth, metal, and water. The Tang sect uses the aggressive energy of gold, fire, and water to assist in refining toxins, while the gentle energy of civil engineering is used to protect the body. Holding poison without abusing it is a form of restraint, which can stop greed. If a person is too greedy, they will be troubled by the secular world and hinder their cultivation. Heart fire can easily lead to anger, lung gold has a strong killing effect, and kidney water has more desires. These 3 factors are most likely to produce toxins that block the way. The liver belongs to wood, the spleen belongs to soil, and if kidney water overflows, dams are built to prevent it. If heart fire causes disasters and killing is difficult to return, a quiet room is built to imprison it. Let me tell you about the root of work. Russell listened attentively, and he had searched for knowledge about meridians in his past life, which is still fresh in his memory. But when the technique runs, it's a bit off. My whole body is covered in poison. Not to mention the heart, lungs, and kidneys, even the liver, spleen, and even the brain are poisonous. What else is this protecting? Master. Why, where don't you understand? We're almost back at the campsite. If there's anything we don't know, you can ask your senior brothers and uncles again. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Tang Jiren still has confidence in the conduct of his own disciples by encouraging them to strengthen their relationships with their peers. No matter how good the company's corporate culture is, it is also a false illusion. Colleagues working together make employees feel comfortable, which can enhance their sense of belonging. By the way, we can also ask our senior disciples to help observe Russell. As the saying goes, seeing people's hearts over time requires a strong sense of defense. It's not that I can't understand, it's just that my previous experience was a bit special. Now my whole body is covered in poison and I can't separate it anymore. Tang Jiren stopped and immediately placed his hand on Russell's wrist, and the purple chi poison entered Russell's body. He has a sense of propriety in his actions, and a small amount of chi poison does not harm the body. Just take the antidote. It can be considered a unique medical examination method among Tang's sect disciples. Not long after, Tang Jiren withdrew his hand and threw it hard, causing a black-purple liquid to fall to the ground and wither the plants. His face twitched. Russell's words were indeed true, but Tang Jiren didn't expect the poison to be so strong. If he had been practicing chi poison for decades like a lion or a tiger, the poison on Russell's body was like a crazy hyena chasing after him and biting chi poison. Tang Jiren looked at Russell and suddenly felt a bit unbelievable. In theory, this physique is naturally suitable for being a Tang sect disciple, but this is unreasonable. Prosperity cannot last long, prosperity in decline. The Tang clan also has records of turning itself into a poisonous person, but toxins enter the brain and drive one crazy. Listed by the Tang sect as the second most forbidden method after Dan Yen. But Russell's state. Russell, don't you have any flaws in your physique? Master, you're really amazing. Russell's eyes lit up. I was originally treated as a virus experiment by the devils, but after escaping, I blindly practiced a set of Xingqi techniques on my own. However, the body cannot see sunlight, otherwise it will be burned alive. Ghost extermination. Tired. Worry. Can the evil ghost constitution still be explained like this? However, the chat group is really good. The key to the martial arts just now was all about snowflake sound one person. Russell. Hashtag hashtag at plus dot hashtag $Hokage. Orochimaru. It's useless, it's also gibberish when spoken. One person. Russell. Stay innocent. JPG Tang Jiren was very distressed, and Russell's few words saved him too much bitterness. Why is the method of poisoning people second only to Dan Yen? Because the pain of practicing the method itself is similar to the failure of Dan Yen cultivation. The descriptions of peeling and pulling tendons, breaking meridians, burning the 5 internal organs, and corroding bones and soul cannot be described as unforeseeable. And Russell turned into this, damn the devils. Xiao Luo, Tang Jiren pinched his shoulder hard, Tangmen will be your home from now on. We can stay at home day and night, and everyone is like this. You're not alone. Master, you don't need to comfort me. I understand that gaining strength comes at a cost. Russell felt a slight warmth in his heart, and although Tang Jiren's words were clumsy, he received his heart. Well, it's not as easy as you can see through it yourself. Tang Jiren was somewhat relieved, and after experiencing hardships, he could still smile. This child has a very good heart. You are really a good seedling of the Tang sect, you need to take good care of it. Master, do you still practice my 5 treasure bodyguard technique? Russell looked at the skills that could be exchanged in his chat group, 5 treasures bodyguard technique. Tangmen life cultivation basic technique, medium to high grade, heavy killing and attacking. Exchange requires 2,000 points. Hokage. Orochimaru. Good thing, I bought it. You received points plus 2,000, ghost slaying. Tired. You have the capital to take off, at Russell alone. However, how will you become a virgin girlfriend in the future? Although the points skyrocketed, Russell had no intention of being happy. With my own physique, will I still be able to make girlfriends in the future? End of this chapter. Chapter 10. My talent is ordinary. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. My talent is ordinary, let's practice first. You have a special physique. After this mission, the sect leader will look for any suitable techniques for you. Tang Clan sighed. Russell's physique was too strange. He had lived for so many years and claimed to have seen so much, but he had never seen him like this. Well, the Great Way is 50, and the Heavenly Extension is 40.9, yet it is one of them. As long as Russell can survive, he will definitely find his own way. We're almost here, be careful. There are many traps set up around us. Follow my steps. Tang Clan is in front, Russell is behind, and their movements are irregular. Sometimes they suddenly jump onto trees, and sometimes they even make a big circle. Russell squinted his eyes, and under the moonlight, strands of silver hair filled the forest like spider webs. The traps here were arranged by your senior brother Su Xian and senior uncle Li Ding. Su Xian is good at using external toxins, while Li Ding is good at refining weapons. Russell couldn't help but recall the appearance of Su Xian and Li Ding. Su Xian was just fine. Isn't Li Ding, that big guy, good at refining his body? Here we are. Tang Clan stood at the entrance of a mountain, deep in the darkness, and slowly approached 9 people. Let me introduce you to Sherbua. Gao Yingkai, Tang Tongbi, Li Ding, Tang Mingyi, Wang Li, Du Fozong. Senior brothers. Yang Lai, Dong Chang, Su Xian. Tang Clan pulled Russell to his side and said, "This is the gun king in this area. Your nephew, junior brother, Russell. Ladies and gentlemen, senior brothers, I salute you, young man Russell." Russell clenched his fist, his voice strong and respectful. The heroic deeds of our past lives are now witnessed firsthand, and we are honored. Ghost destruction. Tired. I didn't expect that among the 10 people in the original work, only the younger generation survived. At one person. Russell, what do you plan to do? Following Su Xian and the others can also safely return to Tangmen. Russell. I don't know. Russell looked at the face saluting him, either surprised or curious, and finally Yang Lai's face remained expressionless. To be honest, he really doesn't know what to do. He can ignore and even take the lives of the devils without hesitation, but the living people in front of him, Master, you suddenly introduced me to our junior brother, and we didn't have a meeting ceremony. Su Xian, with a short and narrow eye, shouted first, and was then slapped on the back of the head by Dong Chang next to him. How did you talk to the old master? Dong Chang, with a thick eyebrow and a big back, cursed and then scratched his head. But what Su Xian said also makes sense. Our good things are all inside the door, and we really don't have anything to offer now. I make sense. Are you still hitting me? Believe it or not, I'll jump up now and slap you. Alright, stop making a fuss. Tang Clan's face stiffened and the 2 little ones immediately calmed down. I taught Xiao Luo the 5 treasures of body protection and Subu, which can be considered a meeting gift. When the time comes, come back to the door and make up for a bigger one. Don't hide anything, of course, don't teach too quickly. Xiao Luo is still learning things quite quickly. Hey, Su Xian wiped his nose, his eyes eager to try. Dong Chang rarely frowned at Su Xian, but instead raised an eyebrow. However, he was quite confident in his qi and poison cultivation. Yang Lai, who had been expressionless all along, had a slight fluctuation in his eyes as he looked at Russell with great interest. Russell smiled shyly and scratched the back of his head. The old man said too much. If you teach me a little, it will benefit me immensely. I can't chew too much, my talent is not that strong. The optical master's things are almost enough to eat. The mentors in front of Russell all smiled, handsome young men who knew how to advance and retreat. Who wouldn't like them? It's just that young people like to compete and be competitive. The corners of Tang Jiaren's mouth couldn't be traced. This stinky kid doesn't have much talent, right? In just over 30 breaths, I have developed over 10 years of skill in other people's footsteps, which is not very impressive, is it? Maybe this kid will learn the 5 treasures protection technique tomorrow. What is it called in Taoism? Congenital Tao body. Humph, now it's in our Tangmen. I hope the sect leader can come up with some good things and not waste this child's talent. Tang Jiaren then talked about Russell's physical characteristics and origin, and everyone looked at him with heartache and appreciation. How can a little thing be enough? I definitely need to teach more. Anyway, it will take a few more days for Yubi Mountain to calm down again, so let's take advantage of this rest time and let this child feel warm. Ghost destruction. Tired. Lu, these people may not even know the value of the 1 million point talent at Hokage. Orochimaru, Snake Brother, are you accumulating points to exchange talents? Hokage. Orochimaru. Hokage. Orochimaru. I'll make an account for you, sign in every day, earn 3,600 points in a year, and at least 300 years to exchange for this talent. Huaying. Deshiwan. However, relatively speaking, martial arts and bloodline constitution can be obtained within 3 to 5 years. If I accumulate points, my ashes will be raised. Hokage. Orochimaru. You're not accumulating points, are you? Are you not afraid of being accidentally killed? Ghost extermination. Tired. How could it be? Wipe sweat.jpg 1 person Russell. Snake Giant is right, we are all different. It's better to learn from our strengths and weaknesses, strengthen ourselves, and live better. Looking at the messages in the chat group, the tired ghost of the world fell silent slightly. He really has the idea of exchanging talents, so he has been hiding. It's time to make a change. Since there isn't much talent in mage-level skills, why not try breathing techniques? As long as it's not discovered by Suji Kami, there's still time for development. You earn points plus 2200, Russell was taken aback for a moment, then smiled slightly. It seemed that he had figured it out and was ready to bravely face the future. Hokage. Orochimaru. I've arrived at Konshin Lab at 1 person. Does Russell sell blood? Strange ghost blood. Contains highly aggressive poison. Exchange price. 20 points / 400 ml ghost extermination. Tired. I'll go. How could his blood be as expensive as mine? I am the last ghost moon. Huaying. Deshiwan. At ghost destruction. Tired. If you practice chi well, you may even increase the price. Hokage. Orochimaru. Let's start with 4 leaders. I have set up automatic point payment, just give points every day. Ghost killing. Tired. There's no need to prepare a container, chat groups will help pack it, and there's no need for postage. Ghost destruction. Tired. By the way, Snake Giant, what about Xiaonan, Mexico, and Changmen when you go to the Kannin laboratory? Huaying. Orochimaru has sent a video, click to view. In the video, Xiaonan, Changmen, and Miyako are wearing shiny armor and holding machine guns, shooting moving targets. Judging from their skilled movements, they are already similar to modern special forces. Ghost destruction. Tired. 6 1 person. Russell. 6 Will the future Shenluo Tianjing and Earth Burst Tianjing not become Nuclear Burst Tianjing? Using the brainwashing techniques of the Snake Giant, I don't know if Tuanzang, Bangkong, and the Uchiha behind them can withstand it. Russell withdrew his thoughts and usually transfused blood through chat groups, thinking about how to quickly redeem points into strength. Whether or not to participate in the assassination of ninja in the end, improving one's strength is always right. Pig Deer Butterfly Secret Technique 1 or B. Level Ninjutsu. 2000 points. Vortex Clan Normal Cells. 2000 points. Chakra Form Change or C. Level Ninjutsu. 500 points. Chakra Submachine Gun, with a range of 100 meters, wind attribute chakra bullets, firing rate of 3 rounds/second. 500 points. It's difficult to choose. End of this chapter.